You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Ladies and gents, this is Kevin Kierstead, host of Truth on Tap and Caps on Tap. I hope you're enjoying the show. Truth on Tap is focused on bringing you absolute truth about everything from mainstream media to comedy, from psychology to the paranormal. This show keeps it real, not the fake kind of real, the real kind of real. That same spirit also covers our Caps on Tap show about the Washington Capitals. Caps on Tap shows air only after Capitals wins at this time. Please come like our Facebook page and join the conversation at facebook.com/Truth on Tap show. Truth on Tap has been picked up and promoted by iHeartRadio, the internet audio mega monster, so shows are available there as well as on Spreaker and a limited selection on iTunes. To get in on a show's chat, you can chat from the Facebook page I mentioned or go to www.spreaker.com/user/truth-on-tap and look for the live episode or call in at 910-NOLYING. That's 910-665-9464. Thanks again for checking out Truth on Tap and Caps on Tap.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Opening up the truth pipeline for these bitches.
Truth on Tap. Truth.
My right to say how I say it's mine to give my rent, my heart, it's mine to share my sons, my heart.
Truth on Tap.
Invite to abuse, just the way to use, chop it up and recombine, chop it up and recombine.
Oh, my friends, it is just after midnight, so technically 8/12/14 at 12:02 a.m. Robin Williams, this will be his first day that he has not been alive. Now, I'm playing Alex's Purple Nurple with Go 1D Fish because it feels right. Let me set the stage here for you. I'm not some sort of Robin Williams groupie, okay? I liked the guy. I felt a special connection to him as a comedian that I didn't feel with other comedians. There was a certain reality about him. There was certain obvious damage in his character that had been done through addiction and other issues when he was younger. If you know anything about his childhood, you know that he kind of came up weird. A lot of books, not so much interaction, that type of thing. However, what I like to do when I'm honoring somebody is to give them what they would want. Now, imagine Robin Williams could come back for just a minute and say, okay, let's see what everybody's saying. These radio hosts who I've never even heard of before, they're all saying all the great things I did. Well, shut the fuck up. Why don't you guys tell some jokes and have some fun? That's what I hear him thinking. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to keep this serious. But we are going to talk a little bit about how to identify when someone's looking to commit suicide. I'm going to tell you some tricks, because you need tricks. It's not as obvious as you might think. If it were obvious, you wouldn't always hear people saying, we are shocked. We are shocked. You know why? Because people that really want to die, they're going to hide it pretty well. If they start giving you signs and clues and the proverbial call for help, well, they're trying to be rescued then. They're going to act like everything is just dandy. And then when it's time, they're going to do their thing and either succeed or fail. It's funny because this happened here on an international scale with a super megastar, but it also happened in our town to a police officer not even a week ago. And we live in a small town, so that's very uncommon. 9,000 people out here. Suicide, what is it all about? Why are people doing it? You know the obvious reasons, but you may not know all the reasons. In the spirit of having some fun with this, as Robin Williams would want us to do, we will be going to Genghis featuring Stereo Black Star's Super Negro. I can see him announcing this song. Ladies and gentlemen, next is Super Negro, Genghis featuring Stereo Black Star. Yeah.
Listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Hit it. It's got a rocky feel to it, doesn't it? Then they go ghetto. Then you hear the French and you're saying, oh. See, I was in 3 different places, but now I'm Parisian in nature. And I don't know how to feel about that, because I can't be ghetto and Parisian. There's a conflict of styles here. I'm confused now. Let's send the Americans the Statue of Liberty. That's all I can think to do. Yeah, because we have black rappers now, so nothing makes sense anyway. Send them a Statue of Liberty. Don't we have liberty here, my fellow French people? We do? How come we don't have a Statue of Liberty? What do you mean you don't know why? Eiffel Tower. Well, what's that got to do with anything? Oh, it just proves we're drunk and we can't handle our statues. Okay, well, I understand that. Yeah, well, you know, I'm sorry, France. At least you got some ghetto rappers now. Good for you. You're coming around. You're coming around. Yeah, you got some straight-ass gangster bitches over there now. But they've got a lot of learning to do. I think there ought to be a Compton boot camp for French rappers. Bring them on down. They can sleep in Geo Metro. They can get shot just once a week to begin with, and then a couple times a day toward the end. Just in the extremities, nothing major. 22s, 45, stuff like that. Get their ass beaten, get their wallets stolen, have their hair shaved, have their shoes tied together and thrown over the power lines, have them drugged behind cars, have them tattooed without their approval, and have them wake up at least 6 times in an emergency room not knowing how they got there. Now you're gangster, and we can send you back to France, and you can be hard. The real shit. Yeah. I don't know anything about being gangster, and I don't want to. Yeah. What is it about gangster? Oh, you feel tough now? Is that what it is? You feel like you can put your macho attitude forth? I'm gangster. You think people like me are going to respect you because you're tough in that way? I have zero respect for you until you put your fucking face into some books and learn something. That's when I start respecting you, and not 1 second before. I don't care how big and strong you are. I don't care if you look just like Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was a thug and an animal, and I still have no respect for him. He used to help old people across the street and then knock them out and take their wallets. Oh, he's changed. He's grown, Kevin. But that was okay then? Yeah, whatever. Robin Williams is probably doing a line of coke right now, because I'm thinking in heaven you get your choice. You know, he's probably starting with the gateway drugs, and in heaven that would be coke, and then he'll move to the harder shit. Fucking halo. He's probably trying to smoke through the halo. What can I use this for? I don't know. Oh look, I have a Pluto. I can make him jump through it. Look. And yip. Yeah. I think we'll stop the music after this one. I want to talk. You know how the mood strikes you.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
How about that, Robin Williams? Mork and Mindy, did you watch it? I do dare say that I'm old enough to have seen it. Hey, Kim. Hey, what's up in the chat room there? Patch Adams. I didn't really like that movie. I thought it kind of lacked. I liked that it was based on a true story, and I liked what that doctor did in real life. What Dreams May Come. That was interesting. Yeah, what if it is really like What Dreams May Come? That was an interesting spin on that. It's your favorite movie, huh? I didn't know that. Yeah, I just saw that for the first time, Kim, probably about 6 months to a year ago. I hadn't seen it when it came out. It sounded too girly, so I just skipped it. And you know, but it was very interesting, the approach to death and hell and being rescued and you know, all that. Kim, since you are in a way religious, why don't you and I throw some guesses out there as to what exactly Robin Williams' soul is doing right now? We'll throw that out there. And then later on in the show, we'll go freestyle, of course, for the second half. But before we get off of Robin Williams, I'm just going to read a little bit about him, the information when he was born and everything. And then not much. And then we're going to... I got a few quotes from him I wanted to read, some information about him, and then we're going to read about suicide, about what makes people just do it, what makes them kill themselves. And there are several things I've got up here. One is the 6 reasons people attempt suicide. That's from Psychology Today. Reasonable source, but not a super duper source. There is here in Popular Social Science, why do people commit suicide? They're a reasonable source. Suicide and suicidal behavior from the National Library of Medicine. They're one of the best sources, and that's NIH. And I'll read you a little bit of that. And this way, you'll know, if you don't already, some of the signs. Because remember, a person that's actually going to do it and is not just making that call for help, they're going to be very sneaky about it. They're not going to try to alert anybody. They want it to work. They don't want interference. And they're generally going to use a large gun or a foolproof method, and they'll shoot themselves in the heart versus the head, because, as you know, you could go into a coma or just be a vegetable if you're shot in the head. But you shoot yourself in the heart and do enough damage, you're going to bleed out. You can't recover from that. Let's see, the altruistic suicide, we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about different types of suicide, but I don't want you to take this episode too seriously, because, again, I want this to be in the spirit that a Robin Williams would want it to be in. And this is what I do when I honor people that have died recently. I ask myself, this person was famous, so they don't give a shit about my show. I get that, okay? Don't be deluded into thinking that I think they care what I'm talking about. However, if I'm going to properly honor them, then I think the right thing to do is to do the show in the spirit they would want it done if they did care. If they did care. So when it comes to Robin Williams, I can't picture him saying anything but, make people laugh with this fucking show, Kev. Do that. So even though I'm going to be reading you some stuff about suicide, I want you to take this all very lightly. Let's go ahead and get into it. We're only here for the blink of an eye, folks. And you hear this all the time, but you don't let it sink in. You hear life is short, life is short. Well, it all comes down to your perspective. Look at the Earth. It is right now 4.5 billion years old. Universe around 14 billion years old. So let's see. The average person listening to my show is about 40 years old. So I'm going to do something here real quick. I'm going to do 100 divided by 4.5 billion times 20. Well, the math is fucking with me, but imagine your lifespan on a graph of the whole history of Earth, and let's go ahead and just shrink it. Let's just put it on the graph of the whole history of humans, going back to, Neanderthal. Just put your lifespan on a graph that covered all lifespans from the beginning of man to right now. And you're a blip. You are a microscopic blip. And when you die, you're going to die a blip. So you really do come and go fast on this planet. And yes, time's relative. And yes, time is subject to perception. But you only have a flash of life here. A flash of life. Now, why somebody would want to cut that short, I don't know. I can't imagine. I'm sure it had to, and we're going to talk about that too. I'm going to use all of the skills I have in psychiatry to try to figure out, with this very limited knowledge we have, what Robin Williams did. We know there was a history with alcohol and drugs. We know that he had been battling the alcohol recently, and we know he was battling depression recently. Depression alone is enough to make you pull the trigger. Depression is a nasty, ugly son of a bitch. Once the chemicals get there, once the thinking gets there, people get in it and cannot get out of it. It is like they're falling into a well that has no bottom. There's no climbing. You don't care anymore. You're not even trying to grab the sides. It could have been something as simple as him wanting to avoid withdrawals if he was quitting drinking again. Okay, if you've ever seen what some of the people that are alcoholics go through when they don't have their alcohol, it can kill them. That alone can kill them. But it's scary, and it scares the shit out of them. This is why a lot of alcoholics become alcoholics and can't stop, because of the withdrawals. They just maintain. They're just drinking 8 or 10 beers a day. They're not even getting drunk anymore. Their tolerance is too high. They're just trying to avoid the withdrawals. This happens with any drug or alcohol, typically. One that you can grow dependent upon anyway, at least psychically, if not physically. Okay, so he could have been going through a combination of things, up to and including avoiding withdrawal symptoms. And he ran out of his whatever and said, I cannot go through this again. I cannot and will not. And he had a gun. We're going to talk about it. How could someone who has everything going for him, how could someone who had voluntarily checked into rehab recently to stay on top of his drinking problem, how could somebody like that lose control when it seemed like he was definitely in the driver's seat? We'll talk about it. We're going to talk about it. Let's see what Kim has had to say in the chat room. You get one run from the cradle to the rocker. Make it count. Robin also entered rehab again this past July. Yeah, he sure did. And hey, Andrew, welcome to the show, and you came in early this time, man. That's awesome. PTSD, emotional abuse, no self-worth. Andrew, what do you think about Robin Williams? Did you see this one coming? What kind of things might you point the finger at if you had to? Because, as you know, CNN, starting with Malaysia Airlines, the first flight, has made it acceptable for us to put forth theories when we have no evidence. It's okay. We can poke around and say maybe this happened, maybe that happened. That used to be very taboo in news. But it's not anymore. You're allowed to speculate. So why don't we, you know? Let's see. You get one run from... Apocalypse is in here? Why am I... Kim said hi to Apocalypse, but I don't see Apocalypse in here. So, are you talking about Andrew, Kim? You don't confuse me. Anyway, let's go ahead and get the hard stuff out of the way. This is typically the way I do it. Guys, I don't want to spend a lot of time on how to watch out for suicide and what might tip you over the edge. Because, again, this needs to be a feel-good show. Just kind of a cut-loose show in the way Robin Williams would cut loose. You know, I have to wonder how many of his performances had him under the influence of cocaine. He was that wired during his performances, and I can't imagine him going through the 70s stand-up comedy not on cocaine. I'm pretty sure he was high most of the time in the 70s, and or drunk. Have you considered this, folks? Robin Williams turned 60. So he was what, 63 when he died yesterday? He was born July 21st, 1951. He has children. Zelda Ray Williams, Cody Allen Williams, and Zachary Pym Williams. His spouse was Susan Schneider. Marcia Garces, Valerie Velarde. He's won Academy Awards, Best Actor in Supporting Role. You'll recognize him from things like Miss Doubtfire, Dead Poet Society, Good Will Hunting, Jumanji, The Crazy Ones. Yeah. So all that should ring a bell for you. You know, Mork and Mandy way back in the day. I'm going to close the informational page. We know which Robin Williams we're talking about now. Did you know his middle name? Who knows Robin Williams' middle name? Don't you Google it. Don't you Google it. I'll send the Google police out. They'll be like, you Googled, didn't you? We've got a lasso now, and we're going to have to hog tie you. His middle name is McLaurin. Yeah, quite Irish sounding, isn't it? McLaurin. July 21st, 1951 to August 11th, 2014. Rest in peace, Robin Williams, or if you're up there somewhere, or out there somewhere, or down there somewhere, and it's a lot of fun and you can do cocaine, well, good on you, man. Light that shit up. tear it apart. I mean, The Birdcage, that was one of my favorite movies. I thought that was really a good movie. Took a lot of skill. Good Morning Vietnam. Anything that was based on a true story, I don't think he did that well with, but everybody loved that, so that's cool. I don't know. I didn't see it as that entertaining. The Real Guy's Life Story, yes, I found that entertaining. But Mrs. Doubtfire thought he was awesome, absolutely awesome, and I didn't pay any attention to Aladdin or Hook. Night at the Museum, I didn't pay any attention to. Happy Feet was all right. He also appeared in the video Don't Worry, Be Happy by Bobby McFerrin. Okay, that's it for Robin Williams. You know the one we're talking about. Let me come back to chat, and then we'll get in here to talk about why people kill themselves and how to figure out if they're going to. Good Will Hunting was the best. I think I could agree with that, Andrew. Definitely in my top 5. Kim, Slight sucks. Something doesn't make sense. What do you think doesn't make sense, Kim? What do you think happened here? Did he shoot himself? I don't know if he shot himself. I assume he did. Yeah, I assume he did. But let's see if they say it on the CNN report. Everybody said he had been battling severe depression. The death to be a suicide due to asphyxia, it says. Wow. Okay, see, that could be funny. This is on CNN's report. Because you can knock someone out with a very harmless, untraceable drug and then tie a plastic bag over their head and make it look like suicide. So I'm not getting into that. If he was battling with severe depression, most likely it was him doing it. What a strange way to go, though. What a strange way to check out. Gasping for breath. Former CNN host Larry King said he would remember Williams as a genuine, caring guy, not just a funny man, but a guy who cared about people. He was pronounced dead at 12:02 p.m. He was last seen alive at 10 p.m. on Sunday. But they are investigating it. Well, yeah, I'm a little sad over this. I'll be honest with you. I like the guy. How do you not like Robin Williams, you know? But we're going to move on in the spirit that he would want us to move on in, which is to just have some fun. But before we do that, I got to read you these quick IDs on how to identify somebody who might be about to commit suicide or the reasons that they might do it. Now, as you may or may not know, I'm just going to read this directly from Psychology Today. I'm not reading you the whole paragraph. I'm just going to read you the main bullets and maybe a line or two of each description. All right, so in general, people try to kill themselves for 6 reasons. Number 1, they're depressed. This is without question the most common reason people commit suicide. Severe depression is always accompanied by a pervasive sense of suffering as well as the belief that escape from it is hopeless. That's true. People that attempt suicide honestly believe there is no way out. There is no way out. Keep in mind the person who commits suicide that has carried a gun with them in their aircraft because they're being taken prisoner. All of a sudden you think differently about them, don't you? Well, if I let the Japanese take me prisoner, they're going to torture me. I'll just kill myself. That's what they gave them the sidearms for. You know, and they did it. A lot of people did it. So, again, you're looking at a situation where there is no out. And all there can be is immense pain. Number 2, they're psychotic. Malevolent inner voices often command self-destruction for unintelligible reasons. Psychosis is much harder to mask than depression, and is arguably even more tragic. The worldwide incidence of schizophrenia is 1%, and often strikes otherwise healthy, high-performing individuals whose lives, though manageable with medication, never fulfill their original promise. Schizophrenics are just as likely to talk freely about the voices commanding them to kill themselves as not, and also, in my experience, give honest answers about thoughts of suicide when asked directly. Psychosis is also treatable. Number 3, they're impulsive. Often related to drugs or alcohol, some people become maudlin and impulsively attempt to end their own lives. Once sobered and calmed, these people usually feel emphatically ashamed. So he could have been under the influence, not thinking reasonably. We don't know. But this is one of the 6 reasons people generally tend to kill themselves. Number 4, they're crying out for help. Now, I've already talked to you about this one. Usually when they're going to do this, they make it obvious they're thinking about suicide, or they take some weak pills, that they know won't kill them. So number 4, they're crying out for help but don't know how else to get it. They usually don't want to die, but death doesn't look too bad to them. It's mediocre. They're afraid of death. They're not so sure, but they don't mind trying it anyway. The prototypical example of this is a young teenage girl suffering genuine angst because of a relationship. And remember, just because you think it's silly, they think it's everything when they've lost a boyfriend or girlfriend. To them, it's incredibly real. So try to see it through their eyes. And then so she swallows a bottle of Tylenol, not realizing that high enough doses Tylenol causes irreversible liver damage. Anything over 4 grams, really, of Tylenol is going to do liver damage. And that's only about, let's see, if they're 200 milligram tablets, that's anything over 20 tablets, guaranteed liver damage. In a day. You can have up to 4 grams in a day. But that's not the point. The thing is these attempts that people are making are leaving them with permanent injuries. Number 5, they have a philosophical desire to die. Check this one out. The decision to commit suicide for some is based on reasoned decision, often motivated by the presence of a painful terminal illness from which little to no hope of reprieve exists. These people aren't depressed, psychotic, maudlin, or crying out for help. They're trying to take control of their destiny and alleviate their own suffering, which usually can only be done in death. They often look at their choice to commit suicide as a way to shorten a dying that will happen regardless. This guy says, in his personal view, if such people are evaluated by a qualified professional who can reliably exclude the other possibilities for why suicide is desired, these people should be allowed to die at their own hands. I agree. I think suicide should be entirely legal. Remove this stigma from it, but have it controlled. Have it to where they're not feeling pain, make them, give them a mandatory 2-week wait. They should be able to wait 2 weeks to make sure they're not going to change their mind. And then control it. Have them sign, make them push the button that actually does the killing and injects them or releases the drugs or whatever. And have to get all that on videotape. Anyway, so 6, they've made a mistake. This is a recent tragic phenomenon which typically young people flirt with oxygen deprivation for the high it brings and simply go too far. The only defense against this, it seems to me, is education. That's what he's saying. So let's see what you guys have had to say in the chat about that. We can't even execute someone correctly. I agree, Kim. But if, we're talking about them jumping off of a 40-story building and that mess, or them administering a lethal dose of drugs to themselves under controlled conditions, I would try the lab first, personally. Hoffman went the same way. How did he die exactly, Andrew? I'm curious. Philip Seymour Hoffman. He was a good actor too. Jesus. If these people dying don't remind you guys of how short life is, then you might need to re-examine the way you process time. I look at suicide personally kind of like you drove up to the McDonald's, you drove up to the microphone, you ordered your meal, you've got the money to pay for it, you get all the way up to the window, they've got the bags ready, then you drive off without getting your food. I mean, that's how fast life is. Go ahead and get your damn bags and just eat. Why you got to pull out early? It's just... Well, if he may have known he had a terminal illness. I don't know. He was doing a TV show, I think, Andrew. Some kind of Crazy Man or something like that. Kevorkian, yes. Your mother did what? I'm curious. Oh, here you go. She took the meds the doctor had just told her to stop taking. It's sending her into comas. As soon as she got back to the nursing home, she asked for her nerve pill. Drugs needle still in the arm when found. Okay. It's funny. How did they ever figure out about what's his name that played the Joker? Did they find out exactly how he went? Or was that just an unfortunate combination of drugs? I mean, I'm thinking of everybody now. Chris Farley. I mean, fucking Elvis. I mean, you know. Let me tell you something, people. Once you've experienced a good high, going back to normal makes life look pretty shitty. So if you've never experienced a real high from a drug, let me advise that you never even try one. Never even try one. Just get high on jogging. You can get runner's high, which is a great feeling, by the way. You can get high on music or your art, whatever that may be. Just stay away from the fucking drugs and alcohol, because they will kill you, even if only by you needing to avoid their withdrawal symptoms when you don't have any left. Just stay away from them. That way you don't ever have to be disappointed, because, you know, I mean, I've had my share of highs, mostly from painkillers that the doctors prescribed to me. And I remember when I first took Vicodin. I don't take it anymore, but when I first took my first pill, it was a big 750. There were the fat pills, because I'm a big guy. And I called the doctor that night. I said, what the hell is this you gave me? I left it on her machine. They were laughing at it the next morning. I said, I feel drunk. When I turn my head to look at something, my eyes are still looking where my head was, but my face is now aimed in the direction of where I want to look. Then my eyes catch up. That's how slow I am, you know. And it was a great feeling. My pain was almost gone. It knocked it down from about a 9 on a 10 scale to a 2. But it also came with that bonus high, you know. And as I was taking that for months and months, you begin to become accustomed to that. You expect that high every day. Now remember, the goal of pain medication is to reduce your pain. It just so happens that the way it affects your brain, it tends to make you high as well. There are very few medicines that are highly effective against pain that don't also bring some kind of euphoria. So you get used to that, and you come to expect that. And when you have to stop doing that, there is a depression. There is a chemical change, imbalance. Your body's making up for the decreased serotonin levels, increase in cortisol levels, sporadic production of gamma-aminobutyric acid, all kinds of chemical imbalances here, and you wonder why someone who's coming off of a drug or alcohol might shoot themselves in the fucking face. It's a miserable time. When they're coming off of it, they'll typically have diarrhea, the shakes, every part of their body hurts. They cannot think, they cannot sleep, they have nausea, dizziness. All they want is another drink or another dose. It's all they can think about to stop the pain of the withdrawals. They have hallucinations, very common when someone's coming off alcohol. And that's both visual and audio. They will see things and hear things that are not there. And it can kill you. Once your body gets pissed off that you're not feeding it alcohol anymore, it can kill you. Just coming off of it. That's powerful. Alcohol is powerful. Only weed and not too often. Oh, and a drink, but I don't overdo it. I don't drink. Well, I used to. I mean, I just stopped because my girlfriend doesn't drink, and I have no reason to. So since I've been going out with her in 2010, I just haven't drank. But I reserve the right. I like to drink at hockey games. So it's that simple. I will drink at hockey games unless I'm with her and her daughter. Like we went to a Norfolk Admirals game and I didn't drink because I would have been the only one drinking. But if I go up there with Dave, my boy Dave, or somebody up there in D.C., oh, we getting drunk. That's all there is to it. Because there's nothing like being at a hockey game drunk. It is the ultimate high. It is just beautiful. It's maximum energy combined with maximum painlessness. Awesome. Awesome. Especially if you can ride the subway all the way home, or at least to your motel, and you don't even have to think about driving. So yeah, I'll drink. I mean, you know, and I still routinely have to take medications. Like right now, I'm just taking herbal remedies that are entirely legal. But, and speaking of that, for those of you that may be looking to get away from big pharma, and you may be looking to address your pain and perhaps your mood or your sleeplessness, you may want to look at Kratom. K-R-A-T-O-M. Kratom. I think it was Apocalypse that got me to look at it, and I've been very impressed with the way it works. What it is just a leaf. It's a simple tree leaf, not a plant leaf, and it is crushed into a powder form, and you drink it. That's it. There's nothing else to it. And the one guy I would recommend at this time is Kratom Warehouse, Todd over there. Todd Baker's his name. And he's an awesome dude. I mean, he sent stuff to me before I even paid. That's how fast he is. And I can't remember the website. I think he changed it to K-Warehouse. But what you'll want to do is get your Google on and read up on it first to make sure it might be something that you'd be interested in, and then just get a small sample to see if it's going to work for you. K-Warehouse. Let me just make sure here. Yeah. It's www.k-warehouse.com, and that's Kratom Warehouse. He's got up there, he's got bulk extracts, white, red, green, accessories, premium. What you probably want to try is the basics, and that's Bali, B-A-L-I. And you can get Bali Supreme or just Bake Bali, B-A-I-K. I would stay away from the extracts. That's kind of high power stuff. That's where they condense a bunch of the leaf to just get you the alkaloids, I think they're called, which can treat your pain and your mood and depression and all of that. Typically the white gives you energy. The red and the green are better for treating pain. There's one called Tawatua Indo, which is the best so far that anybody knows of for treating pain. So that's one of the ones I focus on. And then usually with that I'll take like a horn Indo for energy, or just a basic Bali, because that's the go-to that everybody likes. So, you know, it's your bread and butter kratom plant. Check it out. Check out Todd at K Warehouse. That's where you're going to get a good deal. He sells little bits and big bits, and if you compare prices, you're not going to find anybody that you can beat him with, unless you go and order literally from like Malaysia, and you're ordering like 50 ounces at a time. So remember, this is not weed or anything. This is simply a crushed leaf that you drink. But there are certain laws here and there, different states that say you have to mark this as not suitable for human consumption. And the reason is because the FDA won't test it. And the reason for that is because places like, I think Malaysia or Thailand, I can't remember which one, outlawed it. And you know why they outlawed it? Because it was digging into their opium sales. The federal government there controls the opium, and they don't hide it. It's part of their national income. So they had to outlaw the kratom because their opium sales were taking hits, because it was the safer alternative. No one has ever died from an overdose of this plant. So it's worth a look. I'm going to leave that at that. I don't want to be a salesman here, but it's impressive to me to think that, wow, you can just take the plant leaf and consume it and get relief for your pain and improvement to your mood. That's amazing to me. You know, and now this is on a much larger scale than you might get from like a chamomile tea. So it's important that you see the difference there. Very, very promising plant. And this is not anything synthetic. People try to compare it to spice and crock and all that. Get out of here. No, it's nothing like that. Nothing like that. Synthetics are completely illegal. They're doing FBI and all kinds of raids for synthetics. This is not synthetic. It's a simple plant, a tree leaf. That's it. There's nothing else to it. Pick the tree leaf, crush it up, sell it. That's it. So, we're going to talk a little bit more about suicide before I insist on taking this. Yeah, thank you. Well, you can drink it like a tea, but I recommend what they call T&W, toss and wash, because it gets grainy and it doesn't dissolve in the drink, even if it's a hot drink. So it's not bad. I mean, it's not bad tasting, I don't think, but I would much rather, I use 2 level teaspoons full, and I do one at a time, and I just chase it with something, and then I'm done. So, what do you want me to send that yeah, I'll send that to your inbox. I'll go ahead and post his website on the announcement for this show. That way everybody who may have listened to this can see then how to get there. Todd at K Warehouse. There we go. And I'll go ahead and, like I said, it's k-warehouse.com if you guys want to type it up now. Let's get back then. He said not Thailand. What was he talking about? Well, you know, the thing about this kratom, Kim, is it's given me some hope. You know, that there's something I could take that'll help with my pain that's not big pharma. I mean, they're still throwing pills at me from the VA. They throw pills at you left and right. But if I could just take this herbal remedy and stay away from all that, I feel like that's sustainable. You know, that's an important thing, to feel like something is sustainable and that you're not just going to end up building a tolerance and having to switch medications. I don't know what he meant by not Thailand. I think maybe it was Malaysia. I don't remember. Zombified. I was zombified. That's because I wasn't sleeping, really. I'm also going to get a vapor thingy now, too. A vapor thingy, are you talking about for e-cigs or something? I'm curious. Let's go ahead and get into this so we can get it over with, guys, and then we'll take a break and come back into the second half of the show, and that is, I've got some, actually, we'll talk about these in the second half. It's Robin Williams' most memorable quotes and phrases, and it's not that many, it's just a few that they've got up here. I think this was a reporter trying to get his name in the paper right when the suicide happened, so he just threw a few up there. It doesn't look like it's been well researched. I've already read to you the 6 major reasons why people commit suicide. I'm going to now paste that article on the announcement for the show on the Facebook page. If you have not been there, make sure to check it out. Facebook.com/TruthOnTapShow. Don't forget show. TOTS is an easy way to remember it. Okay, Warehouse, we're done, and we have 2 more things. One is warning signs for suicide. All right, you may know some of these, some you may not. And then the other thing is why. Why do people do it? You might think you know, but you might be surprised by the reason that people say it in their suicide notes, for example, that they killed themselves. So first, let's talk about the risk factors. I'm going to ignore all this stuff about protective factors and environmental factors. We're going to go straight down to warning signs, okay? In contrast to a longer-term risk, and this is from afsp.org, preventing suicide, warning signs are indicators of more acute suicide risk. Thinking about heart disease helps to make this clear. Risk factors for heart disease include smoking, obesity, and high cholesterol. Having these factors does not mean that someone is having a heart attack right now, but rather that there is an increased chance that they will have a heart attack at some time. Warning signs of a heart attack are chest pain, shortness of breath, nausea. These signs mean that the person may be having a heart attack right now and needs immediate help. As with heart attacks, people who die by suicide usually show some indication of immediate risk before their deaths. Recognizing the warning signs for suicide can help us to intervene to save a life. A person who is thinking about suicide may say so directly, "I'm going to kill myself." More commonly, they may say something more indirect. "I just want the pain to end," or "I can't see any way out." A lot of times, in my experience, guys, they won't say anything. They see no point in it. They're just going to kill themselves, and they don't want to raise suspicion before they do it. So you may not see any of these signs. But keep an eye out for these signs here, okay? And this way you can call a suicide hotline, or at least their family, and try to find help for them. You know, try to get them to think this through without embarrassing them, you know, because that'll make people kill themselves even faster. Oh, no, I've been found out. Most of the time, people who kill themselves show one or more of these warning signs before they take action. Talking about wanting to kill themselves or saying they wish they were dead. Number 2, looking for a way to kill themselves, such as hoarding medicine or buying a gun. Watch out for those behaviors. 3, talking about a specific suicide plan. That's kind of obvious. 4, feeling hopeless or having no reason to live. 5, feeling trapped, desperate, or needing to escape from an intolerable situation. 6, have the feeling of being a burden to others, so essentially guilt. 7, feeling humiliated. 8, having intense anxiety or panic attacks. 9, losing interest in things or losing the ability to experience pleasure. 10 is insomnia. 11 is becoming socially isolated, withdrawn from friends, family, and others. 12 is acting irritable or agitated. These are all signs. And 13 is showing rage or talking about seeking revenge for being victimized or rejected, whether or not the situations the person describes seem real. You know, all of us have been in these categories here and there. It's when you start seeing 5 or 6 of them together that you got to do something if you care about this person, okay? What you're going to see in them, and this is what's going to this is where they're not going to be able to hide it. They're going to forget about their hygiene. They're going to stop showering. They may start to give, this is my experience talking now, they may start to give all their things away. They may say something strange about their will, like they've put you in their will or something, or do you want to be in their will? These things, normally you might think, oh, that's silly. Why would you even be talking about your will? You got to put it together. You got to be thinking. They may seem like they're having a great week at work. Okay, this is often why people are shocked. So you have to watch out for these little signs. You know, if you see somebody talking about their will, and the week before they bought a gun, and this week they're having insomnia, which they've never had before, that's enough. That's enough for you to try to force an intervention. Get their family involved, and then get the law and doctors involved. It could just be medicine they need. Could be something as simple as an antidepressant. People still see the stigma associated with an antidepressant to say that if you're depressed, you must be weird. You must be weak. You must have a defect. You don't have a defect. You just have a chemical imbalance. It's ridiculous. The stigma is still connected to depression and anxiety. There's medication for it, people. Get yourself fixed. If you find yourself thinking about suicide a lot or wanting to die, go to your fucking doctor. Life can be much better than that. It's already short. Don't shorten it more. Jesus. Yeah, so that's all. Those are the warning factors there. And then let me see what you guys are saying in chat, and we'll take our break. And then we'll come back and fuck around. We'll do what you want to do. Government-controlled sale of drugs. Okay. Michaela got one that is out of this world, and I have to give up the smoke. It's killing me. Okay, so you're talking about a vape. Are you talking about an e-cig, Kim, or like a big vaporizer that does nicotine? I'm curious. My son's excuse was because he was lonely. No one wanted to be his friend. They told him he was poor and didn't have the right clothes. He wasn't cool. That can drive a kid to suicide. Kids are killing themselves more these days. They take social pressure and peer pressure very seriously. And we adults, because we've matured past that, we don't feel it like we used to. But I ask you, go back to the 8th grade, go back to the 6th grade, and remember what it was like when anybody rejected you. That was a big day for you. It's a big deal for them. So you got to see it not about the way you see it through your new mature eyes, but see it through their eyes. And it may feel like to them that life isn't worth living because they've been rejected by the cool guy. You know, they can't even fathom death yet. Their brain is not developed enough. At the same time I was going through all that horrible abdominal shit, I remember that things weren't the norm at school. Straight A, average, 5th year in a row to almost straight F. He didn't smile, wouldn't shower, didn't care about belongings. He had a plan to drown himself in our pool. Wow. Chaos. His doctor put him on Prozac and Adderall. Took him 2 years of day therapy to pull out of it and in the meds. Well, Andrew, I don't think that the changing your way of thinking is always the solution. I think people want to believe they can pull themselves out of depression, but I think probably 80% of the time they can't. They can't. It's not under their control. It is chemical based, and it has a genetic component. Of course, there are environmental components as well, but I don't think you can just pull yourself up by the bootstraps out of depression. I think that's a rare case where you can do that. Vaporizer's like a wand, and you have to charge it, but you have to refill it with a bottle of liquid. Well, I want to see that, Kim. I mean, I always use the e-cigs in the winter because hockey's on, and I don't want to come out, but I'm thinking about getting something better. I used to use an e-cig, just to go off topic here for a second, with something from Mrs. T. Her name was Mrs. T, just like Mr. T, but Mrs. T. She sold flavored juice for e-cigs, and she sold one called French Toast. And I loved that e-juice. It was delicious. It made smoking that e-cig fun. Just a lot of fun. And I smoked that French toast flavor all day, every day. And then she went and changed it by adding a bunch of maple butter flavoring. Fucked it all up. Since then, I've never enjoyed anything like that. So I am going to be on the hunt again for a new e-cig contraption and the right juice. Yeah, you can get it in different kinds. There's literally hundreds of different flavors. You sure can. You can mix your flavors. You can do chocolate raspberry. I've ordered Red Bull before. I've had grape cigar flavor. I've had cherry Kool-Aid, pipe tobacco flavor, and then a bunch of specialized ones like Virginia Deep and stuff like that. There's a new vapor place in Gloucester now, opens this weekend. How about that? I wouldn't mind going down there if I had any money. Andrew, where do you live, if I may ask? And I wanted to find out how old you were, also, if I may. I don't want to know exactly where you live. I just meant state, if you don't mind. If you feel a little protective over that information, I'll understand. That's cool. And we are going to talk a little bit about these suicide reasons. It's going to be very quick, and then we're done with the suicide talk, okay? In the spirit of Robin Williams, he would want us to go on and have some fun. I think he would. I think he would want us to stop talking about this. And yet, as a person who has spent the better part of his adult life studying psychiatry and psychology, I feel an obligation to try to give people a little something, a little way to say, how can I look at the people around me and make sure I don't have somebody about to do this? Well, you can't. You can't be sure. I'm sorry about that. The best of psychiatrists can't be sure. But you can watch out for the signs and then have an action plan ready. You can do that. There are categories here that they give people that commit suicide. For example, the role of culture and society. Emily Lee Durkheim argued that suicide is more likely to occur when the social ties that bind people to one another in a society are either too weak or too strong. He saw suicide as a manifestation of the changes in modern society that were altering the fundamental bonds that connected people to one another and to their community. Now, if you consider that he died in 1917, imagine if he saw today Xbox, Internet, Facebook. He would be nuts about this. Durkheim mapped out 4 different types of suicides: the egoistic, the anomic, the altruistic, and the fatalistic. Common for all of them is that they represent deviance in the individual's adaptation to society. In his view, psychological problems were the result of these misadaptations, and suicide should therefore be understood socially rather than psychologically. Well, I disagree with that. I don't think it's always environmental. Is suicide a selfish act? I'm not even reading that. People who believe they're at the end of their rope, selfish doesn't cross their mind. all it's going to do is make them feel even more guilty. And what's that going to do? Compound the problem. They're going to blow their heads off. The altruistic suicide, the ultimate sacrifice. Yeah, these kamikazes, that's a good example. Kamikazes that knew, they didn't even train them how to land their planes. They just, they knew. And they had a little shot of, I believe it was called rice whiskey before they would take off. So they even let them drink and fly. Oh, they were going to die. So that's the altruistic suicide. Effects of a sudden and dramatic change in society. That's the anomic, A-N-O-M-I-C. Suicide is related to dramatic social and economic changes in society. These sudden changes lead to moral confusion and a lack of social direction. Durkheim pointed to the paradox that although suicide rates rose during times of economic recession, they also rose during times of boom and prosperity, when we might expect them to decline. In both cases, there's a sudden change in norms and social expectations. And I'm going to take a little sidetrack right here to talk to you guys about something. Stress. You think all stress is bad. You think that the only stress you have to worry about is the kind that piles up on you and comes from bad news. Well, what if you win a lottery? That's stress. That's called eustress. There's eustress and distress. Eustress is when you come into something that, even though it's fortune or fame, it's a sudden change. That shocks your system. We're not meant to adapt quickly, psychologically, to a major change in lifestyle. Okay, whether it's for the worse or the better. So regardless of whether you're feeling eustress or distress, it's still stress. So keep that in mind. You know, you're saying, well, I sure wouldn't mind having some eustress winning the lottery. You may say that, but you'll be surprised, because now you got to wonder who your real friends are, because everybody's going to want a loan. You got to start asking yourself, how much do I give to charity? You got to start asking yourself, how much do I divvy up between family members? How much do I put away? Do I invest in stocks and bonds? Do I hire an accountant? How much can we blow? What if we blow through it in 2 years? Will everyone laugh at us? All of that brand new stuff on you. So think about it. Just think about it. Just something to think about. That's all. Effects of a sudden and dramatic change in society. Special forces or psychological pathology. He said that, to sum up, the 4 types of suicide are based on the degrees of imbalance of 2 social forces. That is, social integration and moral regulation. I totally disagree with this. This is but one fragment of one element of potential causes for suicide. He's calling it the whole shebang. Well, you know, we've come a long way since 1917. I don't know what else to say about that. Yeah, so Durkheim, you can read. You might decide you like his stuff. I've spent a lot of time reading about. I've spent so much. Let me explain something to you very quickly. Before my freshman year in college, I read the entire psychology textbook. It was kind of my thing. Okay, so that's the level of interest I had in it. That kind of deal. And I'm telling you that, in my opinion, this guy is. While he may have been kind of cutting edge for his time, and I appreciate that he took some jabs into the dark, this now looks ridiculous. So you can decide that for yourself, though. Why do people commit suicide? You can look it up. I'm going to share it. This is popularsocialscience.com. It was written on August 13th, 2013. Wow, almost a year to the day. And I'll share that on the show announcement page as well. And I'm telling you, I don't buy Durkheim's explanations for the causes of suicide. Okay, let's see what you guys are saying in chat. What I'll do. Money didn't work for Robin. No, it didn't work. It sure didn't. And it never will. You know, think of all the rich people you've known and you've heard about that killed themselves. Yep. His happiness was in seeing others happy. I love Australia too. That's right. That's right. Australia. Andrew, you're not the same guy that goes by Trilby, right? Because I have an Australian friend that goes by the name of an English hat. I don't think that's who you are. But I could be confused. My brain is mush, bro. I don't know who I met where anymore. It's very confusing to me. Audiobook these days, yeah. Well, that's why I believe in radio or podcast, because it's one of the few things you can do while you're driving or while you're hiking or even while you're reading. You could listen, to a podcast. While you're playing a video game. Yeah. That's why I believe this is the medium of the future. It's not going anywhere. The way it's recorded might, the way it's played, live interaction is going to change, but the format's not going anywhere. Kim said, I did that with my high textbooks before school started. Wish I had did that in college, though. Well, I didn't do it with all my books in college, but I did it with the subjects I was interested in, which would have been anything to do with psychology or English. That was my focus. I loved our language. I loved writing it, reading it, using it to its full potential. I loved understanding it. I didn't really love advanced grammar, which at CNU was English 430. It was very hard. And I didn't feel like I took much from it. Dangling modifiers, I don't think I'll ever talk about those again. It didn't feel like I needed that. But I can pick out a lot of mistakes now, so I guess it helps you to edit your own stuff. No, that's not you. Okay. Andrew, did you just start listening to the show like maybe a couple weeks ago? I'm just curious. And what I'm going to do for you guys, if you want to go ahead and take a bathroom break or whatever, and we'll do whatever you want when we come back. If you don't have any ideas, I'll just run with it. But if you do have some ideas or you want to call in and just shoot the shit, we can do that. We can talk about Robin Williams and his wife farting in her sleep, which he said on Good Will Hunting. Or we can talk about the signs of suicide. Oh, what's up, Guy Shay? Welcome to the chat. This show is good for the mind. Guess I can't pick the bone. Blocked again, damn it. Rats are learning anyway, thanks. Well, we're just taking a break, Guy, and we're going to come back and sort of open it up. So, say whatever you want in chat. We'll do whatever you guys want to. I'll let you steer the show the second half. We can talk about ball sacks. We can talk about, what if a cow had a nipple on its nose and men were inclined to suck on that nipple? We can do all of that. There is no off limits here. But there are taste issues. You got to watch taste. Guy. I mean, everybody here has their own show except Kim, and Kim could have her own show. So yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I don't need to explain this shit to you. You guys are more experienced than me in this. So let's see what I'm going to load up here. I love these songs, so I might want to talk during them. So I think I'll play instead Ghost K Stop, which are the Irish dudes. At least I think they're Irish. And damn, I owe Bad Ace a play. I really do. Alright, so we're going to play Bad Ace Kelly. That's actually a pretty quick song. So let me load that up. We've got Ghost K coming, Bad Ace Kelly. We've already played Purple Nurple. And then I'll set it up for Low Tag Blanco Slumlord, which is Kim's favorite funk song. And who could blame her? Because it's my favorite funk song too. What the funk, man? So that's what we'll do, and for those of you that may have come in a little bit late, I'll play you a quick commercial, tell you how to find me, and then the music will start. We'll be able to go and take a pee-pee and a poo-poo, and then I've got a little surprise for you when we come back before we get into the freestyle. I'm going to make some phone calls on the air, and may call some famous people, so get ready for that. We'll have a little fun with it, you know what I mean? Of course you do. Of course you know. That is that, and here goes this.
To Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Ladies and gents, this is Kevin Kierstead, host of Truth on Tap and Caps on Tap. I hope you're enjoying the show. Truth on Tap is focused on bringing you absolute truth about everything from mainstream media to comedy, from psychology to the paranormal. This show keeps it real, not the fake kind of real, the real kind of real. That same spirit also covers our Caps on Tap show, about the Washington Capitals. Caps on Tap shows air only after Capitals wins at this time. Please come like our Facebook page and join the conversation at facebook.com/Truth on Tap Show. Truth on Tap has been picked up and promoted by iHeartRadio, the internet audio mega monster, so shows are available there as well as on Spreaker and a limited selection on iTunes. To get in on a show's chat, you can chat from the Facebook page I mentioned or go to www.spreaker.com/user/truth-on-tap and look for the live episode or call in at 910-NO-LYING. That's 910-665-9464. Thanks again for checking out Truth on Tap and Caps on Tap.
Express the same things but with different words. We acknowledge the same curve and those might have hurt. It's like the last line you draw to remind a past time. A fast minded feeling of freedom, please you be recognized. And I can hear your doctors calling from here to say kill bias, independency, and off kill the seal, cause he armed himself with stealthy mass appeal. Where's my muse? Where's my muse? If it's like every word slipping through my mouth has been used. Staggering like the old man feeding a third. With my past I reflecting half the things that I've learned. A windowless frame in a transparent room, filling up cracks with plastic assumes. Shape shift, nuance, venue. Don't stop dreaming cause this ain't over. Wreck up your life until you get sober. Don't stop dreaming cause this ain't over, my friend. Don't stop dreaming cause this ain't over. Break up your life until you get sober. Don't stop dreaming cause this ain't over, my friend. I've risen myself as I walk along the weary, moldy watching. I found myself staring, building up an empire of my great desire. Well, the fumes from my thought process takes me higher, higher and higher. Ain't stopping there. My avalanche of color starts over there, and I've got the solitary key to go through. Ray and delicious, but traps can be so vicious. Prepare for the ultimate takedown. Part-time experience might save you from deliverance, but will it serve the greater cause?
Listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead. listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
And that was Wes Johnson. Wes Johnson, the greatest voice actor to ever be on the airwaves in America. You can find him at wesjohnson.com. He's also a regular actor. He's got an IMDb profile and everything. Yeah. He's also the Washington Capitals arena announcer. Homeboy will lift you out of your seat with his voice. He's got power behind that, and he's probably been in some of the video games you've played as the voice actor. You can check all that out at wesjohnson.com. We're probably going to talk a little bit about killing boars in the dark tonight. That was Kim's idea, so we'll get to that in a minute. And RD, what's up? No, the show's not over. We're just getting to the second half, and it's freestyle, so we can talk about anything. The Ghost of Old House Woods doing the Cupid Shuffle. I don't know what that means. Just up. All right. Yeah. We can talk about anything, man. We're in the second half of the show. It was a tribute, essentially, to Robin Williams, but it wasn't really. It was kind of like how to identify potential suicides and what do you think he did? Why do you think he did it? That kind of thing. So I'm looking here at, thinking about Robin Williams got me thinking maybe, just maybe, I ought to try to call a few stars and see how they feel about it. I don't know. Maybe I should. Yeah, I think I might do that. So let's see. We'll start. I'm dialing Cheech here. We'll see how this works out.
Hello. The number I have just smoked is no longer in service. So please bring me another number over immediately at the tone. Just tell me when you can be here with my new number.
Well, I don't think I'm going to leave a message for Cheech there. Who else could I call? Let me think. How about Anthony Hopkins? Let's see what he has to say about this suicide today of Robin Williams.
Have the lamb stopped screaming? Don't bother with the trace. I won't be on long enough. I have no plans to call on you. The world's more interesting with you in it. So you take care now to extend me the same courtesy. I do wish we could chat longer, but I'm having an old friend for dinner. Bye.
Okay, Mr. Hopkins, it seems like you've turned into one of your characters, and that doesn't scare me, bro, because you got to get me before you can eat me. So yeah, you don't scare me. You're just an old dude. I could take you out, but it is very interesting that you like to bite faces off and shit, because to me that's very personal. Look at us, the way we're designed. We're not meant for that. Now, an alligator should be good at biting faces off, but not you. Not you. Maybe we should just call Japan. You guys want to call Japan and see what they think about Robin Williams' death? They're always into our big stars, right? Let's see what happens.
Thank you for calling Learn Japanese in 20 seconds a day. Are you ready? Let's begin.
To
sign up for tomorrow's lesson, please leave your name and number after the beep. Sayonara.
Jesus Christ. Ochi, kachacho, chachacho. Oh no, Godzilla! Here comes Godzilla!
I beg your pardon? Do you dare accost me in this manner?
Godzilla.
Am I the object of this brazen overture?
You are Godzilla!
Kindly confine your remarks to a brief message, to commence as soon as you shall hear the tone. Good day.
You are Godzilla! Oh no! Run, everyone! Godzilla comings! Oh no.
Oh, hello there, children.
Hey, Chef. Chef, you know where shit comes from?
From your ass, children.
Yeah, well, That's true.
This answering machine has been connected to a 5,000 volt power supply that has been wired to this small kitten. If you hang up before leaving a message, little Fluffy here will be blown to smithereens. It's your choice.
I'm hanging up. Kill the cat. Thank you. Yeah. Let's call Coke. I think they were going to do a deal with Robin Williams, so I wonder if they're mad that that he backed out, unfortunately. So I'm calling Coke here, the Coke company, Coca-Cola, see what they have to say.
We're sorry we're not home. The stars will always shine, the phone will always ring. Although we're not at home, we thank you for calling. To leave a message after the show. And we'll get back to you as soon as we get home, yeah.
Unless Godzilla's coming.
No, we're not at home.
No, I know that. That's established. Now, hello, Coke. I was just wondering how you felt about Robin Williams killing himself with a plastic bag. You know, you almost can picture him in heaven laughing, can't you? Hopefully he's up there, if there is an up there. I think we need to entertain the possibility, folks, that when you die, you just die. Maybe you just die. Maybe it all goes black. It's kind of depressing to think of that, but, well, I'm going to call God and see what he has to say about it.
Hello, Heaven here, God speaking. Look, if you leave your name, number and prayer after the tone, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Please note that I try to answer all prayers in strict rotation, but sometimes the answer is no.
Okay. Well, you know, well, we tried God. He can't possibly be in a worse place. It's a good point, RD. Maybe he should have come to the red light district, and he would realize there was a lot to live for. Well, who's next to God? I would say Elvis.
Hey, baby, this is the king. I'm just sitting here with your friend watching a little TV. Bullseye. We're kind of busy, so why don't you leave a message, and maybe later on we'll go pick out a Cadillac.
You're a sick fucker, Elvis, and you know what? Godzilla is coming! Oh no! Run fastly! Run fastly! Ching chong tam pang kan tang tao. Or let me see what they said. Hold on.
Thank you for calling Learn Japanese in 20 seconds a day. Are you ready? Let's begin.
I'm ready.
Hojo ga arimasu. Watakushi wa
Hoja ka aramasu. Wachakushi wa.
To sign up for tomorrow's lesson, please leave your name and number after the beep.
Doki ga sumasu. Godzilla is coming. Oh no. Robin Williams was hung? Do you mean that in the literal sense or the well-endowed sense? I'm curious. Now, how would you know that, Kim? Is another question I'm going to have for you. Maybe Austin Powers would have something to say about this. Let's see if we can get in touch with him.
Like no one's home, baby. Leave a message and they'll be sure to get back to you. Oh, behave, baby.
Oh, Austin Powers. I just felt like I needed to call to warn you. You know, Robin Williams is dead. And Godzilla is coming. Oh, no. Everyone run fastly. Yeah. Well, here's what you could do, guys. I got an idea. So here I am. I'm going to go to Robin Williams' funeral. I'm going to act like a family member. And you're going to hear everybody talking like so. And I'm going to stand up. And I'm going to say, excuse me, everyone. As you may know, Mrs. Doubtfire was based on an actual nanny from England. That is not Robin Williams in the casket. That is the real-life Mrs. Doubtfire. I'm not joking. I don't know whose idea this was, who decided this prank would be funny, but I think that they should be arrested for switching bodies. and charged with impersonating a corpse and thrown in jail, I think, with the dead body that they brought in. That's my idea. This is not Robin Williams in his casket. This is Mrs. Doubtfire, the real Mrs. Doubtfire. It's the real lady. You can ask her herself. Mrs. Doubtfire, is that you?
I beg your pardon? Do you dare accost me in this manner? Am I the object of this brazen overture? Then kindly confine your remarks to a brief message, to commence as soon as you shall hear the tone. Good day.
Yeah, good day. Oh, let's call the Pet Boys and see what they have to say.
We could stop and take your call now. That is what we truly like to do.
Okay.
But since we can't, you'll have to leave a message. If you do, we'll get right back to you, right back to you.
Hey, Pet Boys, did you know Robin Williams killed himself yesterday with a plastic bag? I was wondering, because you guys are always smiling and shit, you probably could have helped him. Do you feel guilty now? Because you're always up there smiling, and he's dead. And you could have just said, look, Robin, here's what you got to do to stay happy, but you never did you? Yeah. Yeah, I think he would be happy we're making jokes about him. This is what he would want. He would want us to call, to be honest with you, he would want us to call Dr. Spock. And so we will.
Greetings. This is Science Officer Spock, and currently there are no life forms available to take your call. But at the prearranged audio signal, please feel free to leave any verbal communication you feel is necessary. Live long and prosper.
Hey, Dr. Spock. Kevin Kierstead of the Truth on Tap radio show, just checking in to see if maybe the famous comedian Robin Williams is with you now in a certain other dimension. And if he's not, and this sounds kind of ludicrous to you, let's go on to a more tangible topic, and that is your fucking ears, bro. Seriously. If you had ink, you could dip your ears in the ink and draw cursive on 2 pages at once. Nigga, your ears are crazy. You know what I'm saying? You need to get them trimmed up and tone the fuck down. Because that's scary. You know, nobody looks at you and sees your eyebrows or your straight cut bowl haircut. All they see is them fucking elf ears. That's all they see. Now, they don't see you splitting your fingers, live long and prosper. No. Ears, man. It's the ears they see. I mean, you're the equivalent of Dumbo in space. That's all they can think about is the ears. I'm sorry, Spock, but it's true. No disrespect to you. Start calling porn stars. Way more interesting dialogue. I suppose I could call some porn stars. Let's see. Here's an Irish porn star.
Hello, are you calling me? Sure, I'm just after leaving the house, or taking another call, or I'm in the tub, or answering a call to nature. It's not in my nature to leave you without a word. So here's your chance.
Right.
Put in your 2 cents, and we'll return your call as soon as ever we can. Bless you.
You want me to put in my 2 cents? Get it? Godzilla is coming! Run! Run fastly! So you guys want to talk to porn stars, huh? How about some porn stars that are into bestiality?
Hi, I'm not here. Please leave a message for my dog, who will return your call as soon as he finishes going through the garbage and depositing it all over my nice clean kitchen floor, turns over his water dish, chews the buttons off the couch cushions, chases the neighbor's cat up the biggest tree on the block, finishes licking himself in areas that are impolite in mixed company, and impregnates the bitch next door. Wait for the bark.
Hello, you have reached the right house, but you're listening to the voice of Howard Stern. The stupid twerp that you're calling is an imbecile, and he is probably playing with himself right now. That's why he's too busy to come to the phone. Leave a message at the beat, etc., etc., etc. Thank you.
Congratulations! You are the 1 millionth caller, and you have just won a brand new car. Providing you can answer these questions. You have 15 seconds from the sound of the beep to state your name, phone number, and name the 50 states.
Yeah, so you lose. You lose. And, you know, it's kind of set up so that you lose. So, you know, you're hearing all the bad stuff. I'm sorry. I can't give you a new car. I can't do it, you know? Yeah. Yeah, you're dying slow. They got that little extra dig in there. Do. Anyway, Robin Williams was sort of the topic today, and we're going to miss him. You know, he just, when he came on a stage or showed up in a movie, didn't you just smile? Oh, here goes that motherfucker. Isn't that what you were thinking? I mean, in that sense, he was like George Carlin, but a little more innocent. George Carlin had more of a carnassial edge to him. He was very vicious in his thinking, later in life anyway. But not Robin Williams. Robin Williams was more, he felt like he had to sell to a wider audience, so he was more tame, I think. But he was funny. He had that Bill Cosby generic funny, but he had high energy all the time. And, you know, I think we need more like him. I really do. I'm going to miss him. I can tell you already I am. I just didn't see this one coming, man. Did not see this one coming. Well, there's nothing we can do now. But remember him. And it's not like I have some sort of special program with which to remember him. And I'm looking at my sound effects now to see if there's something that can speak to the impact he had on comedy and Hollywood in general. And I think if I could sum it all up in 10 seconds, it would probably sound like this.
Well, I'm not a crook.
Yeah, that's him. That was Robin Williams. So let's see what you guys want to talk about in there now, because Big Daddy K is out of ideas today, and it did rhyme, because I can do that. A bunch of high movies, the really goofy ones, rightfully so. Carlin was bitter, yes he was. Adult content warning. What, no joust sound effects? I don't have joust sound effects, no. I've got all kinds of sound effects. I mean, it's like, because I don't plan things, I just don't put them together in any sort of meaningful combination, you know? Zombie breathing. Yeah.
Technical foul.
Oh, well, it was. Are you whipped? Yeah. Then I have the older people that I interviewed, as you may recall.
Hi, honey. Would you bring me a pair of socks for my titties? And to think that was just a creep.
I don't really suppose you're in the mood to go down on me, are you?
Hey, yo, y'all crackers better recognize, son.
When I grow up, I want to be the president of a vagina.
Initial reports from the crash site indicate the extraterrestrial had no testicles. The following are the numbers of pi to 15 swear words after the decimal. 3.1 fuck, shit, cock, cunt, vagina, douchebag, asshole, cocksucker, motherfucker, piss bugger, twat, spanker, whore, wanker, jackass, and sperm.
You know, whore, wanker is a combination cuss word that rattles me down to my bones, because it doesn't make sense to me. You can be a wanker and you can be a whore, and those aren't really cuss words. But to be a whore wanker, I don't even see. That's like saying you're a mountain sky. What? I mean,
can we drop this?
Yeah, no, we can't drop this. Not at all.
Fine then.
Yeah. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat room. Kev is pretty much out of ideas today. Do you have a puke button? No, you know why I don't have a puke button? Because if I hear it, I feel sick. Yeah. Robin Williams live at the Met was amazing. I don't know if I ever saw that one. I know I did see a few of his live acts. I used to love Dead Poet Society, but the more I watched it, the more it became kind of gay to me. And I don't mean that in anything offensive, just very artsy. And, you know, I don't know. Maybe they needed more soccer or something. It's kind of a known secret that is rampant in higher circles such as showbiz, royalty, government, big corporations. These people in showbiz take their lives. It makes me think of rampant pedophilia and such atrocities. Let me ask you a question there, RD. Do you think, I'm not understanding what you mean by that, but I'm going to guess that what you're saying is that the high-profile people are more likely than the average person to be involved in pedophilia, and that therefore they may find themselves in a situation where they want to end their life because they feel guilty or because they're about to be caught and go to jail. Or I had not heard that theory before. That's a new one on me. But again, I don't even know if that's your theory. I'm just trying to put together these fragmented sentences in chat here and see if that's what you're talking about. Why do you think when I showed up at Old House Woods I said, my captain, my captain? Yeah. Carpe diem, everybody. Yeah, I have no ass hat. I have no ass hat. I have no high hat. I do have the Italian police, though. So, yeah, here they come. Oh, yeah. Missed me, bitches. Uh-huh. And, of course, I have the Battle of Midway
I'm still
account,
trying to
which
get
is very
myself
interesting.
adjusted to the unaccustomed feeling of peace and security which comes after such a battle. We licked the Japs in a major slugging match between surface ships, and though it would be almost impossible for me to give a complete description of the battle, these are a few of the impressions which I'll never forget.
Japs.
I remember the tense
Oh no, God, she
waiting for the
ran!
range to close, the captain in huddle with other officers, and then saying, "Ready, Bill, ready, John, let her go." I remember the sheets of flame which came up and almost blinded us from our guns, filled the sky before our eyes, and then the shells as they started on their way. Fireworks more spectacular than any 4th of July. Pinpoints of red winging their way toward the target in a cluster, then to burst on the target in geysers of flame and smoke. The first target left a distinct impression. As the salvo hit the cruiser, she seemed to disintegrate on the spot in a sheet of flame and go down by the bow with her screws still turning. There was only a pall of smoke where she had been before. The other targets went almost the same. In those crowded minutes, we shifted fire rapidly from one target to another with hardly a pause between salvos. I can remember the captain standing there in that indescribable noise and confusion, always the complete master of the situation, coolly shifting fire to engage each target as it appeared. The first touch of realism for myself occurred when a direct hit on the captain's cabin below sent up a sheet of flame before my eyes. Other reports from all over the ship indicated that misses were falling both short of us and over. It was a ghostly feeling to realize those shells would probably soon find their mark. It was a moment of doubt for all of us, most of us anyhow, fearing the magazines would blow up. And then the captain stepped up and looked down and said, "Hell, we're all right." That was the turning point for most of us. The confidence returned again.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you didn't get your ass blown up, so you lived. Yeah, I'm kind of out of energy here, guys, and I don't like to stretch my shows out when I'm out of energy. Does anybody know another show we can go to? I've still got some typing energy left, but I'm all done with talking. So if anybody knows any live shows on now in any of these groups, whether it's Apocalypse or News Guy or Debbie Daily or wherever, I'll follow you guys over. Let me see what is showing up on the Spreaker Explore tab. As you may know, on the Spreaker Explore tab, Truth on Tap is a featured Spreaker show this week. Yeah, Goofy's on right now? Okay, that's cool. Can you give me a link for that, RD? I don't know if he wants us. And Debbie. Okay, I called Goofy's show before, and Debbie's. I don't think I've called Debbie's show. I've called Goofy's, though. Oh, you're going to go rest, Kim? Okay, that's cool. I'll catch up with you tomorrow, girl. Or the next day. Yeah, so we'll do that. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Goofy Bone's show. I got to pull it up to make sure I don't lose it here. And because I'm all done talking, you know. And it's one of those things where I don't think that you should, personally, I don't think that you should stretch your show out if you're out of stuff to talk about. Or if you're out of the MO to talk. Goofy Bone. Show me the Goofy, show me the Goofy, 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 spoofy, doofy, doofy, doofy. Rockin' and rollin' with Goofy Bone. This isn't live. Okay, maybe I got the wrong dude up here. This is live, Monday Night Madhouse. Okay, now I'm in. Well, alright, in that case, I need to go ahead and end my show. I want to thank you guys, RD. Thank you for coming by and joining us before the end of the show, along with Andrew, and I thought we had somebody else earlier. I can't remember who it was, though. No, maybe it was just Andrew and RD. But, you know, love you guys. Glad you could make it into the chat room. Sorry I wasn't more energetic tonight. And, you know, I feel kind of weird because I'm a little depressed, but I was trying to make it fun, too, and it just wasn't working for me, really. It's like you're having a birthday party for a kid that's going to die of cancer in 6 months. You know, you're trying to make it fun, but it hurts, and that's kind of the way I felt the whole show. So, anyway, well, you know, we'll have a better show tomorrow. I don't want to talk about Robin Williams anymore because that's really going to depress me. So tomorrow or the next day, I'll launch into a show that's just about a completely new topic, or one of my frequently visited ones where I can get spirited again and have some data sets for you to look at, and we'll carry it from there. I'm not going to end with any songs. The break wasn't too long ago. So what we're going to do is just stop the show after I say goodbye. And since that is that, here goes.